Welcome to another episode of Untold Legends, Resident Evil The Files, where I explore the smaller side stories that make up the larger Resident Evil universe, found within the in-game notes and diaries left behind. Today's video will be about a file that answers one of the series' most asked questions. Sort of. What happened to Billy Cohen? Or at least, what the world thinks happened to Billy Cohen. This is the story of Rebecca's Report. And who is Billy Cohen? Well, he's a main character alongside Rebecca Chambers during the events of the GameCube Resident Evil classic, Resident Evil 0. A prisoner on the run, accused of crimes he didn't commit and set for execution. On that night, fate brought him to the Arklay Mountains where his prison convoy was attacked, and afterwards he teamed up with Rebecca Chambers to survive the initial T-virus outbreak, just before the mansion incident. By the end of the game, Rebecca continued her journey and attempted to find safety inside the Spencer mansion, and Billy Cohen, he left. Since his departure, fans have speculated what happened to him after Resident Evil 0, and I think it's safe to say that he probably just fled the country and simply lived his life somewhere else. But that's just my headcanon. In-game, we simply don't know. There is no answer yet. But Rebecca did cover for him in her official report to S.T.A.R.S, with a made-up account of his death. Some may be surprised to learn that Resident Evil 0 wasn't actually the first time Billy was mentioned in Resident Evil. He was actually mentioned in Rebecca's report in Resident Evil 2. But wait a minute, you say you've played Resident Evil 2 and you've never noticed that? That's because Rebecca's report is an EX file, a series of in-game files found exclusively in the Nintendo 64 version of Resident Evil 2. The official translation of the file does misspell his last name Cohen with a K. It's supposed to be a C, but he is 100% name dropped. And there are some small discrepancies concerning the details of the Resident Evil 0 events, because the file was actually created to reference Biohazard 0, the original version of the game that was being developed for the Nintendo 64, which you can see here in early footage. Rebecca's report is found inside the Raccoon City Police Department on the second floor. It's sitting on top of Rebecca's desk in the corner of the room, and is only present if you're playing the B scenario, the second playthrough of the game. And I won't be reading the file as Rebecca Chambers since I obviously don't have a female voice, but who is the character that probably did read this file out loud? Probably the corrupt police chief, Brian Irons. And we'll add a couple more story beats at the end here. Rebecca's report was documented as follows. Alright, what do we have here? On July 23rd, a military vehicle was found inside the Arklay Mountains. Corpses of military police members and an unidentified body were found near the vehicle. According to the information from military authorities, the unidentified body was identified as former Ensign Billy Cohen, who was sentenced to death following a court-martial on July 22nd. While Cohen was on transfer via Navy military police escort, they must have experienced some sort of accident. The corpses were severely mauled, apparently torn apart by unidentified wild animals. Of course, Umbrella's monsters they failed to contain, making my job harder. The following day, we returned to the location to recover the bodies, but they were nowhere to be found. Military authorities have requested that we hand over Cohen's body as proof of his death, but due to the circumstances described above, it will be a difficult task to recover the corpse. I am requesting that this case be temporarily closed until further notice. Raccoon City Police Department stars Alpha Team Rebecca Chambers. Alright, kiddo. Case closed it is. One less thing for me to deal with. Irons here. They gave me a full report. They know quite a bit. No, they won't be a problem. You don't have to be concerned. I'm shutting down S.T.A.R.S next week. At least whatever's left of them. Listen, just keep the money coming in, and you won't have any issues.